So we are passing this giant floppy thing of lemonade around the car as we're trying to drive home and make good time.
That's weird.
This is Then You Ruined It, the podcast that will last until one of us makes it weird. Hope you have a short commute. So, after having this day where I just question all the values that I've ever held and my plans going forward, we're sitting at the dinner table and my wife tells me about her day, and then she asks me how I'm doing. Like, how was your day, honey? And I'm like, my day was complex. And she's like, what does that mean? And I look over at my son. I'm like, I do not want to have this conversation in front of my son. So I'm like, I'll tell you later. And she's like, what does that mean? And my son's like, it means he's having his midlife crisis, Mom. Let him do it. And I'm like, that's not a bad way to put it, actually. I don't know if it's the midlife crisis. I still want to save that capital T for, like, you know, when I buy a new car or slap someone on the butt at the mall. But my son's like, I'm going through a bit of a quarter life crisis. And I'm like, well, okay, first off, for you, it better be like an eighth of your life crisis. But why? What are you doing? It's like, well, my one teacher's wife died and my other teacher's brother died. So, like, I realized that people are mortal and people could die.
The Shitty family going through one this week.
Yeah.
Or at least the men. The women are fine. They're just like, oh man, I had a day. It was crazy. I had so many emails to answer. And you and your son are just like, what is life?
Like, why do we do this to ourselves?
Got a lot of homework from my teacher, and I got to really work on it this weekend. What about you? When will we die? And when we do, what happens to us? Okay, well, that we can talk about that as well. Let's just sit down. Let's eat our dinner.
Shut up and eat your shrimp scampi. We do not have existential crisis at the table. Yes, we do, Mom! If there's an edge of the universe, what's on the other side?
I'm glad that, I don't know, I'm going to have kids. My daughter is not terribly, she's curious, but she currently doesn't have, like, those kind of questions. She's more worried about, like, what is going on in her life right now. Like, she's worried about the fact that we're moving soon, so she's got to change schools. And she's also on she's got a lot of extracurriculars going on right now. So she's concerned about those and getting grade school in general wrapped up because she's going to middle school next year. So that's what's on her mind. And my son is just, you know, in the very here and now. Like, he can't even think about 5 seconds from now. It's got to be what's going on right now. Where am I? What am I doing? He's very intent on where are we going, like, in terms of, like, physical space. Like, we're going to this place. I need to know the turns that we're going to take to get there. Like, I am your MapQuest. I am your Google Maps. So neither of them are going to have this problem anytime soon, I don't think. And I'm very thankful for that, because especially if it encourages you to then go through it as well. To have two people in the same household going through that is just like, okay, I'm going to go eat dinner in my room. You guys just deal with this.
I can see you doing that, because this is going to sneak up on you, Jason. A week ago, all my son wanted to talk about was preseason baseball. Now, he wants to talk about mortality. So one of these days, you're going to be sitting at dinner and you're going to be like, well, daughter, how was your day? And she's like, we are all just insignificant dust in the universe. And you're just going to stand up, walk out the door, and be like, where are you going, Dad? Taco Bell, where things make sense. And off you go.
I will say that outside of our Taco Bell, which is terrible and sometimes closed because they don't have enough people to work there.
They're all terrible and sometimes closed.
Well, but not in that way, though. I've never encountered fast food that is as unreliable as this Taco Bell, where you go and it's just closed. And it's like, yeah, Mar didn't show up for his shift, so we can't open.
And that doesn't give you existential dread?
It doesn't give me existential dread. It gives me, so every time I can't get fast food for a reason, I assume it's God or whatever higher power saying, like, trust me, this is for the best. But he's not going to, like, move heaven and earth, like, literally, like, break up the earth underneath me to keep me from getting it. It's just, it's little annoyances. Okay, so I have one right here, and this is as existential as I get, so this ties into yours. Last night, I decided before this. I decided as soon as I saw it was a thing. There's a promotional thing going on where you can get a code for the early access beta of Diablo 4 if you go to KFC and get a Double Down or a Double Down like sandwich. That's right. The Double Down is back. Get it while you're hating yourself.
Wait. What is a Double Down like sandwich?
So yeah, it doesn't make sense because it's a chicken sandwich, but with lots and lots of chicken. So, so if you get one of those through the app, then you get this code that you can play. Next weekend is, as of this recording, is the early access beta, and then after that there's an open beta. So I'm just like, that'd be silly, and also I've never had a Double Down, so let's kill two birds with one stone. Let's get that code and let's get this sandwich. So last night my wife and daughter come back from a thing they were at church, and we were both hungry, and I'm just like, okay, just so you know, I'm doing this, like I'm ordering it as we're watching TV, and it's like 9:30 at night, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this thing. It's for a video game code. I've never had this sandwich. And she's like, I'm glad you said that because I'm hungry too. What do they have? And I'm like, okay, here you go. Here's the app. You order something too.
So this is God moving heaven and earth to get you fast food.
Well, that's the part where, yes, it's much easier and it's very convenient. So we order in the app, and I'm like, okay, well, it's 5-7 minutes away from us right now, so I'll drive down and get it. And I drive down there, and I get to the turn to go into the KFC, which is a very small parking lot. We've been there before. It's near where my wife's parents used to live, who we lived with for a short time. It's right outside their neighborhood. I used to go all the time because it was so convenient. But it's a very small parking lot, and I see a bus parked in the adjacent parking lot that's shared with the McDonald's, and it's a huge, tour bus. I'm like, oh, goodness, that could be a problem. Okay, hopefully it doesn't move. Of course it starts to move. And as it moves, it tries to get out of the parking lot, jackknifes, gets blocked, blocks all traffic. Two other cars try and get in there at the same time. They're now stuck in the intersection. The bus is stuck because it can't go anywhere. So all the cars just sit there for 2 rotations of the light, 3 rotations, I don't know what it was. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I've already paid for the food though. So, Lord, if it be in your will, thy Google Pay has already been processed. Might thine son have the terrible salty chicken that he has ordered? And then the clouds parted and the bus moved. And so I got into the parking lot and said, okay, well, this is happening now. So as I'm pulling up, I see somebody go in, but they come up, they knock on the door. Somebody that works there lets them in and then closes the door. So I'm like, okay, this is not good because it looks like they've closed and they're just letting in their friends to hang out while they close. But anyway, so they let the person in, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try my luck. So I go up and try the door. Nope, it's not opening. Okay. I knock on it. And as soon as I knock on it, somebody from a car behind me that's just parked, some dude rolls down his window. He's like, yeah, you got to go to the drive-thru. They're closed. The inside's closed. Like, okay, thank you, random man sitting in car. Did you order food and now you know this and you're going to tell everybody? Do you work here as well?
I thought you'd look up to the heavens and I will listen to your prompt and do the drive-thru.
Yes. Go to his window.
Come on, we're making this religious.
What is your name? Micah.
I knew it!
Any biblical sounding name. It's just yes! I told you! So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go back to my car and go through the drive-thru, and this is, where everything moves smoothly. But those 2 roadblocks made me think, okay, maybe there's a reason for this. Maybe this, I think what I've heard is a day and a quarter's worth of your salt intake in one sandwich is what's finally going to do me in. And so the Lord is saying, maybe just back off of this one. Diablo 4 will be good, but it's not get an early access code for it good.
I like beating up the devil as much as the next guy, but maybe you don't do this. You're in your 40s.
We'll battle the forces of Satan a different way.
So you really like smiting evil? Well, how about you hand out pamphlets to evil?
I like how your God apparently loves smooth jazz. God is usually the booming voice. Don't touch that sandwich. He's like, hey, dude, chill, man. Let's be cool.
I think God is cool. Do you not think God is cool?
We're not going to get into a weird...
Come on. I want you to record that you don't think God is cool so that God can hear.
The God that I believe in, yes, I believe is cool in many ways. I don't think he's cool daddy-o. I think there's a difference to that. Oh, my goodness. Talk about conversations I didn't think I'd be having today. and am not equipped for.
See, this is how I felt all day yesterday when I'm thinking about, is money just an unrelated thing that we shouldn't even desire? Is it truly the root of all evil? Should I give up all my things and just live in a commune? I came so close to buying a bucket of fish and using their poop to grow lettuce. Like, I am right here.
And your level of going through it and my level of going through it is what we're both capable of handling. Like, mine is like, should I get this terrible chicken sandwich? Which, update, Double Down is terrible. It is no sandwich. There was no sandwich. It was two misshapen, decent chunks of chicken. Like, they were fine. They're really salty. But just those chunks of chicken with some cheese holding it together, and like mayo in there. But it's not a sandwich at all. It was just a massive lump of chicken. And I absolutely would not get it again. And that's great, because I was hoping that would be my conclusion. But I mean, like when Taco Bell, going back to them, did the naked chicken taco, where they made the taco shell out of the chicken. It was at least a thin pressed chicken, processed, of course, but it was like a shell. It was more like a shell, and they curved it so it was a taco shell. This was just chicken, and we're gonna tell you that's a sandwich. It's a joke, and it was not good. So, yeah, it was very bad. Like I took the chicken just apart and just ate it as like chicken strips, and that was okay. But it's just so much chicken, and it's not a good sandwich. My review on the Double Down is definitely a 1 star out of 5.
The veil has been lifted from your eyes, and you see KFC for what it truly is. Too much chicken.
I mean, that sandwich, yes. I do like KFC. I will. Here, I'm going to show you the mound of chicken that I had. Look at that.
I know what it looks like.
The one that I actually got. Because the one in the pictures that they show you kind of could possibly resemble a sandwich. This did not. That is what
it looks like a chicken cordon bleu farted.
I would say chicken cordon bleu sharded.
As soon as I said it, I regretted I should have gone with shart.
Yeah, that's definitely a shart. So, yeah. And, I am wrong. There is bacon involved. So that's what makes it even saltier.
When we were coming back from visiting my folks over Christmas, we had to stop and get fast food somewhere. And my wife loves KFC. And we were stopping in this little small town. And like the only options we had were McDonald's and KFC. And we've had enough McDonald's. And McDonald's is garbage anyway. So I acquiesced. I'm like, okay, we can have KFC. I will remind you, every time we get KFC in the car, you're like, KFC isn't car food. I'm like, I know. But we have this conversation every time, but she still really wants KFC. We go into the KFC. I go into the bathroom to pee, because that's what I do. And I come back out and ask my wife, so what'd you get? And she's like, oh, I got this meal deal. And I'm like, okay, cool. And the meal deal was 10 pieces of dark meat, 2 mashed potatoes, 1 coleslaw, and what they refer to as a bucket of beverage.
What? Who calls it a bucket? Even the Big Gulp is not called a bucket.
KFC calls it a bucket of beverage. And I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is one of two things. Either A, it's just a cleverly named Big Gulp, and it's going to come looking like one of their buckets, or they're actually going to fill up a bucket. One of their chicken buckets with root beer, and we're going to try and drink that. Turns out it's even funnier. It's like, it is designed black, red and white stripes to look like the KFC bucket, but it's like a. Do you know what a camelback is?
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine the bladder of a camelback filled with lemonade and no straw, just like that big hole at the top. So it's like a hot water bottle that holds a gallon of lemonade. That they did not give us cups. We didn't think to ask for cups. We probably could have. Like, and can we get some water cups to distribute this? No. So we are passing this giant floppy thing of lemonade around the car as we're trying to drive home and make good time.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to pass around the car. I mean, passing anything around the car is weird. Usually, like, okay, I brought your snack. Here's your snack. Here's yours. What would you like? Okay, I have this. And there you go. We all have our individual snacks to be sharing a big floppy thing of lemonade.
Well, I mean, this is how we roll. We're also passing around a thing of coleslaw with forks in it. And you're like, okay, you get 3 bites and then pass it to your sister.
Yeah. I mean, my bonus there would be my kids wouldn't eat most of the stuff that's in that meal, so they would eat their thing and then wouldn't touch coleslaw or anything like that. So, I mean, there are options at KFC, like if you get a chicken strip thing with fries, that's much more portable. So yeah, if you go the traditional KFC route, then yeah, you're not going to get something that's terribly portable. But they do have options.
Not as far as we're concerned.
I'm so glad
We're
you got the bucket
traditionalists.
of lemonade. I really wish it had just been a bucket, so you can all just drink out of the bucket. Like, we have enough straws. Put your straw in the bucket.
Hook together enough straws so they can. So it's actually like a Camelback, and we can all just have our little hamster straw right in front of our face.
That would be weird. Much better, but weird. Fast food. It's always worth it until it's not. And then you lie to yourself and tell yourself it is worth it. That's actually one thing that is factored into my decision making with the house hunting we're doing right now. It's where all the fast food is.
I was gonna ask, like, what's this house that you put an offer on? What's the radius? What's gonna be your go-to?
It's extremely close to where we are now, which is close to like all the restaurants and everything. So we have agreed that it is close to all the stuff. I consider it to be closer to the fast food. I just don't say it out loud. But my wife was like, all the restaurants, like there's no restaurants around some of these areas we're looking at. It's like you have to drive 15, 20 minutes to get to a restaurant. And she's thinking, like, oh, the pizza place we like to go, or a nice sit-down restaurant. I'm just thinking, oh, where's my Taco Bell? Is there one within 5 minutes of me? Then I can't live there.
I can't imagine a world where it's more than 10 minutes to a fast food place. Not that I go to any of them, but they're everywhere. Like, I live in the wastes of suburbia up against the wastes of rural America, both of which I love. But like, I still got a Taco Bell that I could get to in 5 minutes.
I look at it and say, I don't want you. I
appreciate
appreciate
the last time
here.
I went there, I had to walk home with diarrhea, and I can't walk home in 10 minutes. I've told you that story.
Yes, we're all aware.
I love how I started this with, I'm going through a midlife crisis. My son is dealing with mortality and understanding that human beings will die. And you're like, I bought fast food. Let me tell you about fast food.
It's about me.
And what I want to eat. Give me the song.
What I shouldn't eat.